Hey lovelies, LarissaJ here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're going to be talking about questions that you can ask someone before you're even courting. So questions that you would ask, I guess, during the talking phase. This was a request of one of my lovelies out there. This is for you. Someone had specifically asked me about questions that they should ask or could ask before they even get to the courtship phase. I think she asked me this question because my husband and I had put out a video talking about questions to ask during your courtship. We had a part 1 and a part 2. If you haven't seen those videos, please make sure to click the link so that you can see those. We did answer that questions that you should ask during courtship. But she wanted to know specifically what questions you can ask someone. I think that would be the talking phase. What questions you can ask someone before you even make it to courtship. So this is like that get to know you phase, and then it starts to drift into like we're talking, like, we like each other, we feel in each other. It might go somewhere, but we're still at the beginning phases of that. So I'm going to talk about that for Javan and I. So before we started courting, there was that phase, that season where we were getting to know one another, and we were asking a lot of questions and just having a bunch of great conversations. And so I'm really going to pull from that. I've obviously asked questions to other people before I met my husband, but I'm really going to focus on the season during, which I had just met my husband, or I had just reconnected with my husband. So in the beginning, we were just having conversations as friends, like just getting to know one another as friends. And I would definitely recommend that when you're getting to know someone, especially like pre-talking phase. I would definitely suggest like focus on getting to know them as a person, focus on getting to know them as a friend. I know that sometimes it's, it's exciting. You have a new person and person that you've met, person that there's potential with, it's super exciting. I get that. And sometimes it's easy to kind of get ahead of yourself and start picturing this person as your spouse, or, like, what if we get married? Like, but I would suggest during that time, just really focus on getting to know this person really well as a friend, and really getting to know like their personality, and understanding and checking in with yourself. Like, do I really like this person as a person? I think that's super important. So in the beginning phases, I would say that. And so when we were in that phase, that's what it was. Like, it was just like, literally getting to know him. And so we asked basic questions like, in the very beginning, I remember, we were still like communicating on Twitter and everything. And so it was like basic questions like, what do you do for a living? Do you have any siblings? Not in this order, of course. These are just the questions that I'm remembering. What do you do for a living? Do you have any siblings? Do you go to church? What church do you go to? Do you serve in church? How long have you been going to that church? I wanted to get to know like who he was on a, and on a simple level. You can ask those types of questions and kind of get an idea and a feel for what type of person that is. So, do you go to church? For me was important because, if the person said no, I would not have wanted that, because I know that I go regularly. And so then, the next question would be like, how often do you go? Do you serve? And so I asked all of that. We asked each other. I asked about siblings and parents because I wanted to know the family dynamic. Are his parents still together? Has he had like a model, any sort of influence or model of long-term love and marriage, God's way? Are your parents saved? Is your family, anyone in your family saved? Was an important question that I wanted to ask in the beginning, because I wanted to know, like, is he surrounded by people who, are believers as well? Those types of things were important to me. So I asked those things. Simple things. Now would be the time to ask the simple questions. I know in the previous video we talked about like, you don't want to be asking like what their favorite color is. Like when you're really hardcore, like in a courtship, getting to know someone, you should have asked those questions. So now, before you're courting, during the talking phase, is the time to ask those types of things. Like, what types of movies are you into? What type of Music do you listen to? And that was important to me, especially in the beginning phases, because if someone were to say, I'm into horror movies. Well, I'm not, and I have, certain beliefs and feelings about like horror movies and certain types of movies that are really like explicit. I don't watch. And so I wanted to know like what he was into, because if it were to progress, I would want someone who is a little more along the same lines as me. So that's why that question is important. Same thing with the music. It's important. Yeah, it's nice to know what they like, but you also kind of want to know, like, that's kind of give you a gauge, especially like depending on your belief system. Like I said, with me being a believer, being a Christian, if he had said like he's listening to all kinds of just secular music, that wouldn't have been something that I was interested in, because that's not what I listen to. And so I wanted to see, like, do we match? Do we mesh in regards to lifestyle? And so, of course, questions of like drinking came up. You want to know if that person drinks. Now, of course, depending on, what you do and in your lifestyle, it's going to depend. It's going to determine what type of response you're looking for. But for me, because I don't drink, that was a question that was important. Cursing, profanity, all of those things, because you essentially, your goal is like to see if we match. Because if you have someone who doesn't use profanity and then you have someone who uses profanity sometimes, or whatever the case is, like, you're gonna have to figure out if that person matches. So and for me, I just knew what I wanted, and so I just was like, I don't want anyone who uses profanity, because I don't. So those types of questions are very important. Lifestyle type questions, like kind of get to know what their lifestyle is like. Do you work out? Do you exercise? Do you eat healthy? Do you drink soda? Do you drink coffee? Do you, like that kind of thing. And it's not none of that is like a judgmental or any of that. It's just really matching, like, can I live with that? If this person were to pan out down the line, can I live with that? And so it's all really going to be contingent upon you and what you're looking for and what you need, and the lifestyle that you live. But those are definitely questions that we asked that were important. As time progresses, you're going to want to know about relationships. We as things progressed and we were getting really close to a courtship, like we were talking on a regular basis, and things were, just getting better and improving, and we were meshing well, and things, the answers that we were receiving from one another were good. It progressed into other things like, what do you believe about abstinence? What do you believe about like physical affection and relationship? Those types of questions. Do you have any children? Do you want children? What is, like, what do you believe that you are called to do is an important question. What do you believe that you were made to do? Do you want to be in ministry? Like, all of those were important questions and conversations that we had, and questions that we asked. What else? How do you like to relax? How do you like to unwind? How do you like to celebrate? Do you take vacations? Really, like, just lifestyle stuff, your belief systems, health, your health. Like, do you have any mental illnesses, physical illnesses, or ailments, diseases, STDs? And as you progress and, continue in that relationship, you're going to build that trust with that person. That person's going to build trust with you, and those types of conversations will become more comfortable. You definitely don't want to ask those types of questions like right when you're like having your first phone conversation, because it's not necessary. But once you see that, like, oh, I really think that this is going somewhere, or we are moving and we're progressing forward, you do want to have those conversations. But certain conversations, it's really just about timing. You don't want to have prematurely. So yeah, hopefully this helps. Of course, there's plenty more questions. You can even like, look, there's questions online and, books, and just make sure you get them from, reliable sources that are in line with your belief system. But There's a lot of resources out there, but I would definitely say start with those types of questions and pray about it. Be led on what types of questions to ask and what information that you need to know about this person. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you also for the video request. And if you guys have any other requests or questions, let me know. Hit me up. You can hit me up via, any social media platform. My Instagram, my Facebook and Twitter handles are all down below in the description box. So let me know. You can also respond on any of my videos, comment on my videos, let me know. But I appreciate the questions that you guys ask me. I appreciate the conversations that we're able to have. So I look forward to continuing to make more content that you guys like and are enjoying. So thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.